World Cup hosts have been confirmed, folks. It was seemingly pretty much a foregone conclusion, but we now have the ironclad confirmation of the next several iterations of both the men's and women's events being confirmed for England, Australia, and the US. The Women's World Cup in 2025 is, I assume, pretty much the last time we will see a split between the men's and women's events because in future, it seems like they're going to be tied with the men's one first and then the women's one a couple of years later, which kind of makes sense to me. You might as well do that instead of splitting them up. Remember, we had Japan and then New Zealand for the men's and women's, although the 2021 women's one is being held this year in New Zealand because of the COVID. It didn't get played last year. And then France and then England, which is kind of a split, but from then on it's going to be uniform. So for 2025, it is the English hosting that one, which kind of makes sense. They're getting good fan support over there in England at the moment. The English side's doing really well, so I think that seems like pretty fitting. 2027's been confirmed for Australia. Remember, Australia was confirmed a while back as kind of the only party they were negotiating with, so it seemed like a matter of just getting things across the line. That's now confirmed. So Australia's hosting it in 2027 and then the women's one in 2029. There were a couple of other countries that initially bid for 2027, including Argentina and Russia. But Argentina withdrew their bid in the middle of the pandemic. And then Russia have had a lot of other stuff going on. So, that was essentially never going to happen. I do believe South Africa, at one point, were interested in the 2027, but never actually put through an official bid. So it's like 24 years between the 2003 one and the 2027 one. So it's like a quarter of a century gap. Some people would say you could have gone with someone a little bit less familiar than Australia, but we are getting that with the next iteration. Australian rugby should be kind of rolling in cash by that point because they're going to have a World Cup and a Lions tour, which are generally both pretty big cash cows. So Aussie rugby needs to invest in the game after those two events because, as I said, they'll never see that kind of financial influx again. Apparently, Australia was also a little bit of a front runner because 2015 England, 2019 Japan, and then 2023 France are all Northern Hemisphere events. So it was kind of seen as its time to give it to a Southern Hemisphere country. So it's Australia's turn. I can't see New Zealand ever getting it again, personally, because I don't think we've got the facilities now. The tournament has grown too much since 2011. Maybe if we shared it with someone, but we would usually share it with Australia, and I can't see them getting it again for the next kind of 25 years, maybe more. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. Remember, France, I think, has got the quickest turnaround with 2007 to 2023. A kind of relatively short turnaround compared to everyone else. But anyway, the following one's going to be in the US, which is a bit of new ground. Certainly the first time we've seen it in the Americas at all. And I don't think America had any competition for this one. I think it was these guys were going to get it kind of one way or another. So yeah, it's a bit of a good boon for American rugby as well. The MLR will have, that much more time to get itself established. So hopefully grow the game a little bit more because at the moment, the American game's not in the best position. The MLR is certainly a good start. But the men's team at the moment under Gary Gold's not doing that flash. They still haven't confirmed their spot for 2023. So they've still got a couple of routes to get into the World Cup, but it's by no means guaranteed. So, hopefully this one is good for the American game as well, can provide a bit of cash investment for the game and draw a bit of attention to the game. And as I said, 2031 is still 9 years away. So, a bit of a kind of target to look forward to for them. So, those are your two confirmed World Cup hosts. It'll be interesting to see what route they go down for the following one. Do they kind of go back to Europe? I would say probably. It'd be nice to see someone new host it, but we'll kind of have to wait and see because, they tend to go with the safe options. But as I said, USA is at least a bit of a breath of fresh air. We'll see if it draws enough attention. But, I think a lot of people will be keen to travel over to the States So they should get a bit of an influx of people. But yeah, there you go, folks. England, Australia, and the US for the next set of World Cups. What do you guys reckon? Like I said, it doesn't seem like there was a heck of a lot of competition for the bidding. So, yeah, congratulations to the countries for getting this done. I would imagine the next one will be a bit more competitive because financially, fingers crossed, the world will be in a bit of a better state by then. But anyway, who knows? You guys have any thoughts? And who would you like to see host the next kind of couple of World Cups? You guys have any thoughts? I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.